So, in our consideration of elevation and depression, we've discussed a lot of things, and we've seen a lot of diagrams that can result from uh, questions on psycho. I'm sorry, I just read psychogeometry. So, on elevation and depression. So, but there is a question. There are questions that can be confusing and result in will I say, triangles or diagrams that you may not expect. But one thing I always say about elevation and depression is that just follow the question, and then whatever diagram comes out, just focus on solving to get your answer. Let's see this question. So this is going to be different from what we've discussed before, but just follow the question, like I said. Two boats 70 meters apart and on opposite sides of a lighthouse are in a straight line with the lighthouse. The angles of elevation of the top of the lighthouse from the two boats are 71.6 degrees and 45 degrees. Find the height of the lighthouse. Take tan 71.6 degrees equal to 3. So, well, that's a hint. Okay, now the question says that there are two boats. Okay, so we can establish that there are two boats. Um, so there are two boats, then they are 70 meters apart, and that they are on opposite sides of a lighthouse. Okay, and also they are in straight line with the lighthouse, so that means they are on the same horizontal ground. Then I think let's focus on that first. So basically we have two boats. So we have a lighthouse here. Okay, so let's say this is a lighthouse, and then we have two boats on opposite sides. So one boat here, another boat here. So let me just say another boat here. Okay. Now they are on the same horizontal ground. So basically, I can just say do something like this. Now another thing is the two boats are 70 meters apart. Hmm. So meaning that from this point of this boat to this point of this boat is 70 meters. That's a good point. So let me just indicate it like this. Okay. Um, Now another thing is that the angles of elevation of the top of the lighthouse from the two boats are 71 degrees and 45 degrees. So that means from one of the boats we have the angle of elevation from here to the top 71.6 degrees. Now the angle of elevation from the other one to the top is 45 degrees. So I think we got the diagram right. Now what I want us to find is the height of the lighthouse. So we have to find this. The lighthouse, we do not know the height. Okay, so but how do we do this? Okay, so since this is a straight line, vertical line, so we can have 90 degrees on both sides here. So how do we do this? Okay, so now you may say this is easy, um, but technically it is not easy. Now let me show you why. This is the original diagram. You have something like this. Okay, so we have 71.6 here. We have 45 degrees here. We have H here. And we have from here 70 degrees, the two boats. So let's call this A and B, two boats. Let's call this C. Okay. So we need to find H. And obviously, for us to find H, we need to know at least from your knowledge of triangles, Socatoire and the rest, um, you need to know, let's say, either this side, CB, or this side. So you can use one of them and say like opposite over hypotenuse or adjacent over, opposite over adjacent. Yeah, one of them. So we do not have any of the values here or here. The same thing, we cannot still find height using 71.6 degrees because we do not know what is here and what is here. So what we're going to do, it's a strange thing because we've not done it before, basically, I think. So we're going to say, since they have given us a little hint that from A to B is 70 degrees, A to B is 70 degrees, that means we can say that from A to C, not A to C, not that point. So let's say A to the tower. So let's put T here. Is it tower? Lighthouse, sorry. So I was talking about another question. Lighthouse. So A to L, well, let's call it Y. So let's call A to L Y. And that means A to, come here, let me clean this off. Okay. So that means A to L to B, L to B will be 70 minus L. Now, why is it 70 minus L? Because obviously, if we know what Y is, let's assume Y is 10 or 20, and you know that A to B is 70, that means 70 minus what Y is will actually give you what L to B is. So that's why we said 70 minus Y. Sorry, did I say 70 minus L? That's crazy. 70 minus Y. Okay, 70 minus Y there. Okay, so because of this, it will be easier for us to be able to find the height. We're still going to progress on this. Just follow along. It's something that we have not done before, so just keep following along with what we're saying. So let's see. Let's start with this first triangle first. We're going to find. Um, we're going to link H here, this height, and Y. So we're going to assume to find the height here. With this triangle ACL. So this is part of the triangle. So we're going to say to find the height here, we're going to say opposite over adjacent because y is adjacent. So we're going to say tan 71.6 degrees equal to h over y. That is opposite h over adjacent here, h over y. And like we're trying to find the height, so we're going to say cross multiply so that h is equal to y tan 71.6. Let me do this well. 71.6 degrees. Okay. So it's just something that we're doing to be able to get to a point where we can substitute values. So we're going to assume that this is the first value for h, and we'll say this is equation 1. And you notice if we do the same thing in the second triangle, we'll still get a value for h here. And then we'll be able to fix in the value for h into this equation 1, and you see we'll be able to get a particular value where we can get the final answer for h at the end of the day. But let's keep moving. So let's go to the next triangle. The next triangle, we can still say opposite of adjacent, tan 45 degrees. So I would like to use another page. So tan 45 degrees equal to opposite, which is h, over adjacent, which is 70 minus y. And then we cross multiply, we see that h and this equation will be equal to 70 minus y bracket tan 45 degrees. So this is equation 2. So we have two values of h here. This is one value and then the other value. So what we'll just do is instead, I think to make it easier for us, we'll just put the value of equation 1, which has a value of h, in equation 2, since we've already gotten to this point. So we already know that h in equation 1 is y tan 71.6 degrees. So now we can just equate it to, so this is what we just put here like this, and we equate it to this as it is. So 70 minus y tan 45 degrees. So the idea here is that if we're able to find y here, Because you know, notice that h is no more in this new equation like this. There's no more h here. So if we're able to find y here, since that is the only unknown here, um, we would now be able to find the value of h once we know y. I think that's just the point. So with this new equation, let me put it in a new page so that you see it clearly. We have y tan 71.6 degrees equals to 70 minus y tan 45 degrees. So, but we already know from the hints in the question that tan 71.6 degrees is 3. I'm sure you'll be wondering, how do you think of all of this and be going through all this process? Well, practice is what will help you get to this point. I think keep solving problems like this and you'll be able to do something like this. Well, so now that we've gotten to this point, so let's see, we'll just replace tan 71.6 with 3 so that this side of the equation becomes 3y because we multiply it with y. So let's have another page here, and we'll have 3y. You understand that? Because tan 71.6 is 3y, so it's 3. So now it's equal to 70 minus y, bracket tan 45. Now tan 45 degrees is what? Is actually 1. So since tan 45 degrees is 1, we just have 3y is equal to 70 minus y times 1 is the same thing as 70 minus y. So remember that this is 1. You understand? This is 1. Okay, so let me just remove that so that it doesn't cause much problem. Okay, so now we can solve the equation here, and we'll bring this y to this side so that we have 3y plus y equal to 70. We have 4y equal to 70, and then we know that y is equal to 70 over 4, and that is equal to 17.5 meters. Okay, so since we know what y is, now we can know what h is. And all we just need to do now that we know what y is, you see one of these equations, this equation 1 and this equation 2, we can just put y, the value of y which we know now in any of these equations, and you see we'll be able to find h. So it's a genius idea, right? And it's all just knowing how to go about these things, thinking through and solving many problems that you'll be able to do something like this. So since we know what y is, we just say h is equal to y is 17 point what? 5. Then we already know that tan 71 point, or let's just put it tan 71.36. Okay, so we already know that this is going to be 17.5. Since we know that tan 71.6 is 3, we're going to times it by 3 so that we have the answer to be what? 52.50 meters. And that is our answer. So it's something that you need to really practice, solving questions like this for you to be able to get this kind of answer. Okay. So I think we'll solve another example and see what we can do with it.